wake up and you meditate, you do affirmations, visualization, you read something new to expand your mind, exercise, and journal. And I'd been doing that, and it was very transformative, and things that happened.
Because it allowed momentum, positive momentum.
Right.
Yeah.
And I gained so much from it. I was thinking, I'm never going to stop doing this.
We would change the name of it.
Okay.
Because calling it a miracle makes it look like you're overcoming something, like it's miraculous, when it's not miraculous to be in alignment.
Okay.
It might seem like it, but we wouldn't keep emphasizing that point.
Okay. Yeah, I'll see that. What should I call it?
We would call it my connection to who I naturally am. Connection to who I naturally am. Or deliberate empowerment morning. Or normal empowerment.
Okay. Daily ritual.
Daily, not ritual, because ritual is something you do when you don't mean it.
Okay.
Daily deliberate
and not
choices.
just that, but like,
Okay, I like that. Daily
For-
deliberate choices.
I just
We're going to make
noticed
this
the
title
energy is
so
so
long,
different
it'll
now.
take your
Like,
whole morning just to call it.
Yeah, because everyone was
That's fine,
like,
as long as I stay in
happy,
alignment, I
and
don't
like
mind.
it wasn't.
But
you know,
then for the last few months,
No one
I
was
stopped doing
complaining
that. Even though in the
before,
morning or
and now,
before I go to bed, I said, I'm
like
going to do this
in the
morning.
beginning, Eric was very excited.
And I just
work.
want to sleep in the morning. And it's bizarre because I already know what the payoff is, and I'm resistant to it, but I don't know why. Am I overthinking it? Should I just do it?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I know I should just
No,
do
that's
it,
a
but why am
ritual.
I not doing
No, that's
it?
a
Okay.
ritual. That's
Because it
doing
wasn't
it
like
when
that
you don't mean it.
before, you know.
So we don't think you should ever do anything for
Suddenly
that
it is.
reason. But think about what the power
And it's
of
like if you don't like it,
the
you don't need to
momentum
work here.
is. So you see, the benefit of getting hold of something that
nobody
feels
is
good
forcing
is
any
that
of-
there
any
will
of
be
us
some
to work
momentum
here,
in
you
it that
know?
will call you to the next thing that feels good, and the next thing that feels good, and the next thing that feels good. But if you've assigned to yourself a list of things you must do, then you're just doing them without any mindfulness about whether you have any real momentum going. And so then it doesn't yield to you what you want it to, because if it really was the payoff or the payout that you were really wanting, you wouldn't have stopped doing it. Here's what it is. The payoff has to be right now in the now, not a future payoff. I breathe deeply because it feels good to breathe deeply, not because tomorrow I will benefit by having breathed deeply. You see what we're getting at? Let it please you in your now. So we'll just ask you some simple questions. You're going to like this. In your now, when you've just awakened, would you rather be confused or clear-minded?
Clear-minded.
And so just lie in that understanding of how much you like clarity. And then think about what clarity feels like. Think about the power of clarity. Think about how good you feel when you're clear. Think about how productive you feel, or about how efficient you are, or about what good timing you have, or about what good balance you have. And then bask in that feeling of clarity. And then the momentum of it will take you into a little stronger thought about what clarity really is. Well, it's the infusion of me with my source energy. It's me opening to all that I am. And then feel that. So you're not doing it to affect something that's going to come later. You're feeling the benefit of the momentum right here and now. See what we're getting at?
Yeah, that feels really good.
So then, once you get into that momentum, then you might feel like a shower, or you might feel like a walk, which is just going to enhance that all the more. You're not doing it in a ritualistic way. The momentum that you have accomplished has connected you quickly to the broader perspective that you have, and now you're being called to all that you are, and now you are in your empowerment. Empowerment morning might be a really good label for that. Esther asked us, Abraham, can you give us a list of process, or as a list of things that we should do? And in the should, there's such a sort of backlash, because doing anything because you should do it puts you back in that being broken like a horse or domesticated conversation. You want to feel the inspiration toward what you do. And if it's not an inspiration that you are personally feeling, then you're in bondage, because someone else is assigning it to you and someone else is keeping track of it, so to speak. Can you feel the difference in this? Think about the word sincere. Sincere. Let's go deep into the understanding of when you say sincerity, what we mean is in harmony with the very depths
if you were
of who
to say
you are.
something behind their back,
I sincerely
they would
mean this. I'm with the full meaning of who I am.
HR.
I'm not doing it to accomplish something. I'm doing it because in this powerful now, it feels the very best to me.
Yeah.
And you'll get hooked on that. You'll get hooked not on the results, but on the connection. You see, if you're doing anything for the results, you might miss the connection. But if you're hooked on the connection, which means you're hooked on the feeling, the power, the clarity, the enlivenment, then there won't be anything that will distract you from that.
So when I read things like if you want to be or have, I guess I shouldn't be so results driven, but if you wanted to live an extraordinary life like Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, Richard Branson, they all have these rituals in the morning. I mean, kind of like our friend earlier who did the whole alignment thing in the morning.
But the thing that's most interesting about you trying to compare what anybody else is doing is that you don't really know. They're in a position where they stand at the culmination of so much that they have done, and there's no possible way that they could explain to you what they were doing along the way. They might be explaining to you what they now like to do,
because I'm done with my
but
hours.
let your
so
inner
now
being
just
guide
getting
you. And we're not saying that you might come across some of those same, but there's a big difference in reading something and taking some action to affect some emotion, and discovering the vibration that promotes an emotion and holding it until the momentum becomes more. Let your own inspiration come to you, not someone else's. It's nice to have role models. We think it's wonderful when people are succeeding and you're watching them and they're teaching through the clarity of their example. That is a wonderful
let's
thing.
go.
But you have within you guidance that is there and so personal with each and every thought that you think. Every thought that you think, you have an emotional response to it that lets you know the vibrancy of it and the value of it and the benefit of it in the moment, you see. You'll hear more about that. It's all we ever talk about. We think this is a really good time for a segment of refreshment. And are you refreshed? Good. Now what?
Oh, I'm so nervous and excited and happy, and it was me. I have two questions, two different topics. First question relates to the gentleman that was up here. I know I'm going to be here honestly. Now, but the gentleman that was up
other
here,
people would rather
the
be
very,
fake.
very first gentleman. I'm working towards something. I want it to happen. I'm co-creating, manifesting the best that I can to my ability. As I'm doing this, I've actually been talking to people lately about asking in all that is. So for me, spirit guides, higher self, angel guides. I'm like, anyone, everyone, come help.
The whole point of wanting anything.
And I want
Wait,
to...
we want you to hear that.
I want
That's
to
the whole point of wanting anything. The whole point of wanting anything is so that you can co-create with all that you really are. The reason for desire is for the fulfillment of the unfolding. It's not to get to the end of it. It's to be in the middle of it. You say, I want this, so I'll call in some spirit guides. And we say, yeah, the spirit guides are what you want. You say, no, I want this. I'm just using them to get what I want. And we say, no, that's what you want. You're just using what you want as your excuse to do that.
Oh, I totally missed that first time.
Yeah.
Even in my head, I'm like, no, that's not true. What I want is what I want. But I hear you.
You want it all.
I want that. I do, and I do. I've been following you for some time now, and I do want that, and I want that alignment. And it's also too, you talk a lot about effort. Like I feel like I try so hard, and some of this is I loved what was said too about the path of allowing. I'd like to move into that as far as aligning and receiving.
Well, just know that when you're trying hard, you're not allowing.
I don't know how not to, kind of.
Does it make sense to you that when you feel ease about something, that you're in greater alignment than when you feel struggle about it?
Yes.
So just feel the feeling of ease for a moment, and then feel the feeling of struggle, and then place effort somewhere on that continuum. Is effort more toward the ease end or toward the struggle end?
The struggle.
And so trying hard is toward more the struggle. So now put succeeding and failing on the spectrum. Most people just say, well, I'd rather succeed than fail, therefore I'd rather try than not try. And we say, there's more to this picture, because you can succeed in alignment. The trying isn't the factor that makes the succeeding. The alignment is the factor that makes the succeeding. And in fact, what we just said to you, that we had to double round again to help you hear it, is that the success is the alignment. The alignment will bring manifestation after manifestation after manifestation. And after a while, you'll feel the exhilaration of the path to the manifestation. It's the process of the thoughts turning to things that is the most joyous part of all of it. It's not the things having been turned to. It's the thoughts turning to the things. It's the thoughts turning to the things. That's what you're in this for, is for the feeling of the thoughts turning to the things. You getting to mold the clay. The person who is sculpting the clay, we promise you, the sculpting process is so much more important than the finished, hardened statue.
So, for instance, I'm sitting down to review some stuff that I need to know, and I'm like, all right, like I just feel like everything I do, I'm like, okay, everybody, anybody, I'm like, come on, let's do that. Or like I feel like even in the, and I heard what you said and I am taking it in. It's one of those things so like in the day-to-day, I'm sitting down, literally, I'm like, okay, I need to learn this material for XYZ. I sit down, I'm like, hey, everyone, let's go. And like, but I don't know how to ask. I don't know exactly how to align. And maybe that's the problem. That's what I mean by the...
But feel in your conversation or presentation about it. Yeah. Feel the feeling of it and feel the not knowing of the material vibration as related to the satisfaction of the knowing of the material. You're bringing struggle to the non-physical.
Yeah.
So just try to soften that a little bit. So what might you say? I'm sitting down to learn something that I don't know. Well, don't make a statement so bold. I'm sitting down to enjoy the learning of something. This is going to be fun, this expansion of understanding. Feel how that takes away the not knowing? It takes the emphasis off the not knowing, and it makes it easier rather than struggle. So now, I'm looking forward to this. Hey, you guys, what do you know about this? Hey, you guys, what do you know about this?
Not please tell me, I need you to tell me. Can you please tell me right now? I need to know.
Yeah, there's a little difference.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, you could get yourself in such a bind that your inner being could tell you something that you really want to know that you're not even ready to know. In other words, you could be about to make a left turn and there could be someone barreling down the highway that's going to clobber you when you do, and your inner being could give you an impulse that's so strong that you'd be frozen in your spot so that you couldn't make that turn.
Okay.
But that's not how you want to live life. In other words, those last-ditch things, of course your inner being's always going to help you, but you don't want to live in that kind of tension. And if you really want that consistent, good flowing, then you got to kind of lighten up in all of this. Yeah. Do you think that you are a good learner?
Yeah.
Do you like how your mind works?
I do.
Do you notice your ability to hold facts?
I do.
Have you noticed that things occur to you that once you get a little ways into a subject or into a concept, that then it starts opening up quickly for you?
Yeah.
Are you aware that with just a little bit of momentum, then the rest of it comes on faster?
Yes.
Can you feel how the laws of the universe are working with you?
Yes.
Can you feel how things are always working out for you?
Yeah.
Do you acknowledge that you always accomplish it no matter what?
Amanda,
do you notice that you can make it harder, make it easy,
out?
but it's going to be all right in either case?
Yeah.
Would you prefer for it to be
not even
easier
on
or
the
harder? Would you prefer to do it with
Like now
the
she's just starting
assistance of
shit.
non-physical or without it? In other words, we're just doing a sales job on lightening up just a little bit. And can you feel how easy it is for you to acknowledge all of the things that we just said? You know everything we just said.
I do, and I
So
appreciate
continue with the limitations you were arguing for earlier.
I don't want to. And I so appreciate, I was talking to a friend, I appreciate places like this and beings like you and people like that are here to, when I'm by myself, it gets serious and heavy.
So we have some questions for you. Which is better by your estimation?
Everything has been sent
Succeeding or failing?
out. Only the bad
Succeeding.
is
All right.
only one.
There are right and wrong answers here.
And then
So that for her is something.